So won't really matter all that much. What will matter is the match itself as we get into our first map of Overpass. ENCE on the CT Star, Complexity buying in the pistol rounds. We're ready to go live with the ESL Pro League for this fine concurrent match day.
Now, one we know for Complexity is the struggles in the pistol round so far from them. Whether they're able to turn it around today is going to be vital for them. Be able to get themselves a little bit of a way in up on this series. Starting out on Overpass, you've got Complexity bringing quite a lot of attention out towards this B side. ENCE making an aggressive long hold, at least gathering some information.
Look at the jump face in from Marden, trying to hold the incendiary to his favor. The flashes, the smoke should come down for the execution. Marden's going to force himself out of dodge, and there'll be some tag damage coming in the initial contact. Marden the first to fall to Fang, however. The bomb should commit to the site. And now they're wrapping towards water to catch off Snappi the same. So 5 on 3, infinitely gained.
Really nicely done there from Complexity. Get that opening entry. Rather than just getting the bomb down straight away, they start taking some of that pit control, allowing themselves some further map presence. There is a backstab out towards Monster, but it's still a two-man disadvantage.
Thing has made noise, so JT and Floppy can call that in, and the player in the water position. And Grim's going to watch out for that as Fang looks out to the backlines, catches Volley. Is he aware of SunPayus? Apparently not. Backs our turn, but the USP's missing his shots. Eventually connects it onto Fang. Looks for the next player of Floppy. No one's accounted for this quick walk out. Flicks on towards JT, doing damage, but no further kills go the way of the CT side as Complexity quickly gain the pistol rounds.
Nicely done. In from Complexity, straight in towards that B-site play. It's work around the util, allow the flash assist to come through around that pillar position. And for ENCE, on the 4 subs, they've not always been massively successful. I think it works out to be about 3 wins and 7 losses when force buying in the second round after losing the pistol.
Follow-up force buy in from ENCE will, of course, come through. Scouts, Eagles, 5-7. It's the full-on guns and a Mac 10 for hallzerk here. There is one player without armor and one player without a helmet, so it's potential that hallzerk can get some pretty easy cash on the board. It's whether he can make his way up to those players in time. They're being very passive about the ENCE defensive line.
And just knowing that for SunPayus, take a pop shot, fall back, allow himself to be a little bit further on the back foot, retreat towards our A site, get the smoke off towards the front of the bathrooms, play out towards connector. Deer's doing some damage at least.
And he's also sent up towards JT to 15 points of HP. He'll go. Not much in the way of actual damage now. Kill department, of course, just as dry. Facing him for SunPayus, trying to wrap in, trying to catch these players off, but no vision given up.
Even that re-smoke down towards the divided position is going to try and stall for a little bit of time. Allow that Deagle to get more aggressive, more in the face. And look at this gamble rotation. This is a really good mid-round call here for ENCE. They've got 4 players on A right now, but Complexity might be thinking about down to connector and over to B.
Right call, right time. Snappi suddenly left to snap off the heads of all the Complexity's players here. Make quite a little bit of noise in terms of the connector hut. And now the footsteps should be heard, but what can this individual do? A smoke will go down to suppress them in a monster with a Deagle, but a blind fire takedown. 1 and 3, in fact. 1 bullet to connect the collateral. AK switched up. Oh my god, Snappi's got a quadra. Will he land the ace? No. Fang gets back control, but one Deagle boy has changed this whole round for ENCE.
Oh, Fang's trying to see if he could draw the jewels out to the open, at least dealing with that first seeing both of the players. Oh, the clutch nearly presents itself, but D is there for the trade, and ENCE win the round. What a great reaction. You see the way that ENCE start gambling up towards the A site, mass rotating, the smoke goes down, and rather than Snappi falling back, he realizes, I've got to play close to this smoke. I've got to give myself a slight advantage with the reaction of the T's coming out towards that B side, and he does perfect. Absolute perfection there.
Oh, what a Deagle play, and what a way to steal it back for ENCE. Proving how close this one could really be. Couldn't have played that better if he tried. FAMAS is in, M4's SMGs already. D is down to Grim's hero AK, part of a force investment overall for Cole. There will be firepower, and there will be a casualty for ENCE.
We know Grim can always be solid, averaging a 1.16 rating in the last 3 months of Overpass against the 9 maps played so far. Get the AK in his hands as quickly as possible, and Complexity already starting to ream the benefits of what they've been able to do with this buy. Now for ENCE, it is very passive right now. Not a lot of info plays, not many aggressive setups being held. You've got Madden close towards that monster position. Everyone on A very deep in the bomb sites.
Once again, one man set towards this B defensive, putting those smokes out as appropriate. This time with SMG on Marden. No Snappi in sight. although he can rotate relatively quickly in from the mid-control and connector if he has to go there. For now, just resting on his one more lineup.
Martin going to be exposed surely when this smoke starts to clear. Could even be a walk contact out, Monster.
Bringing forward, seeing two, getting dealt with immediately. Grim's AK getting his double up. Now allowing access to the bomb site. ENCE unable to hold off this time. The miracle play, the quick snatch away is left to the 5-on-3 that they just can't seem to contend with. This will be a pretty easy second round for Complexity. ENCE aren't even rotating to exit frag positions, let alone the retake.
Hey, Complexity are ranked first in Group C on the T side for the highest round win percentage in 4v5 situations. So what that means, Jay, is something that we'll have to keep an eye out for as the series progresses forward, is Complexity on T sides do a very good job mid-round of holding advantages and converting them into round victories. We saw Grim getting that first pick out from T-Con, then regrouping out to Monster. The walk setup comes involved. He finds a double, and that is the round siphoned off from that point onwards.
And that's Complexity regaining the lead real quick as well, not allowing ENCE to output much in the way of the steal. At least they save those two key rifles on SunPayus and Volde, so there is firepower to play with. Do they force around it in this next round? I mean, they have got double eco stats for Dia and Martin, so it seems like it would make a lot of sense. They can also drop on SunPayus' part. So it's the play that makes the most sense right now.
And we start thinking about history, building some storylines, Jay. The last time ENCE didn't make playoffs of an ESL Pro League was back in early 2020 during Season 11 when they still had a full finish lineup. They don't want to be in that boat again.
In a while. Have they had many struggles in that time? Like, have there been any group stages which have been a bit awkward for them, or is it just been plain sailing ever since?
I mean, you think back to the last one where they made the top 2 placement, where they got to the final. They placed second in their group. In Season 14 was a little bit more difficult, where they came third, but then even Season 13 was a bit of a cruisy one as well. So, yeah, not often tested a massive amount in the groups.
Now's the time to take back control. Obviously, again, as I said at the start of the stream, the issue for ENCE is the fact they need 2 results to go their way outside of just this one match. So elimination is still calling them. It's the case to hold against that door for as long enough to be out of the Complexity side. The sprays through from Volde, looking down out of the boost up top of the stairs in at the connector control. And Fan gets incendiaried away from shore.
Grim waiting to expose this duel out towards connector with the smoke starts to clear, and as soon as Dia starts moving, that gap in the smoke is just enough to be able to capitalize.
Little frag, JT follows suit on Martin. 5-on-3 gain, 1 player back at water, 1 more inbound from the Graffiti's position. Snappi does find that kill against JT, but Grim is so quick to find another triple, and SunPayus is trying to close in a backstab, so he's got nothing left that he can do here in round 4. Hold on to this Galil, save it in for another round. Look towards the full eco for ENCE's Complexity. We'll look for 3 on their board.
And while this is still very early on, Jay, I do want to come back to the conversation of T-sides for Complexity on Overpass. They average a 38.6% round win on T-side in the last 3 months. Now, as of right now, it's again, we're only still a few rounds in. We're looking at a 3-1 scoreline, then a 4-1 scoreline with the eco. This is looking very good for Complexity because any more than perhaps 6, 7-ish rounds in the first half, they'll be adequate. They'll be really happy with going into the second.
Building up the foundations of that scoreline for now. Very far away from the turn of the half. Anything else ahead of that? We're on the road at this moment. 3-1 on the board for the time being for Complexity. ENCE should just eco around this Galil. Maybe a drop pistol for SunPayus. Maybe upgrade P250s, but that at a stretch more than anything else. All about that rifle round of the next one.
You got to imagine here for Complexity, just making sure you're not losing too many rifles in this sort of round when you know you're not up against a massive amount is going to be important for them. Stabilize that economy, really start building up. And for ENCE, it's a little bit more of a heavy stack, and that's really important because in a round like this, you want to try and get as much out of the Galil, put it into some aggressive positions.
I don't think he saw Floppy. He's seen pixels of Floppy. Dishing out some damage is now Snappi trying to take the aggressive face here. Famas does see him as he starts to make his way ahead of the smoke. So information gain, the kill getting found. Decent effort there from ENCE, but didn't work out.
Now for Floppy, just expecting some more aggression to come out from either the short pipe or towards Monster. Grim has got that connector presence to keep eyes towards those short sandbags. Complexity have not had a massive amount of pace on this T side, just running their slow defaults, being able to get very sound opening man advantages. And SunPayus now putting himself in a little bit of an off angle. Rather than up on the grill, he's actually down on the floor.
Bit of an uncommon position. Does mean you can take a bit more of a directive fight. You can see that one player ahead of the stairs trying to creep towards it, though. I think JT has seen him, and yes, SunPayus will be challenged directly by Floppy. A frag found. SunPayus quickly making his way up, and now Volde will try pull their attention out towards the right-hand side. SunPayus could be in for a hell of a sequence indeed. Volde does get checked, but JT does the check into the right. So the rifle's down, the pistols will remain. The USP on Martin now in a 1-on-4 situation. Very well coordinated there for Complexity. Do lose one more player on the way out, but 3 alive means that overall the economy can profit. And now ENCE will look towards their buy.
And we were having a conversation at the start talking about SunPayus, something that's new for him, going from Spanish-speaking lineups over to a European one. Think about someone like hallzerk. Even though he's played on teams towards the higher end of Tier 2 on Nordavind and Dignitas, this is his debut in a Pro League season. I mean, this is probably a level of competition that he had stints of, but not on a consistent basis when he was a part of those teams.
In fact, for consistency here and now. AWP is in on SunPayus, seeing if we can have that impact. The impact comes in from Martin, though, peeking up alongside Volde, finding 2 picks between them. Floppy and Grim now isolated on short and connector, respectively. Dia is trying to play around this smoke the same. Off angle that Grim could still sneak past, but smoke's off to clear, though. Dia's going to catch him. 2 left standing for Complexity. ENCE have found their rhythm.
And that was lovely coming through from ENCE. That's a massive change-up. They haven't really made that many aggressive run forwards, and you saw the deep Monster smoke coming through, the instant press out towards Monster in the short pipe, and this round has been incredibly successful. Complexity just being ripped, and you really felt like everything had been taken away from them, even initially off that 3v5. That was the round over from that point onwards.
Honestly, that was a beauty of a round from ENCE, and all 5 players got kills in that one. Well handled. The aggressive force was even working out well. 2 AK save on the CT basis, extra firepower to play with, and Complexity completely swamped in that last one, forcing them to take a tactical of their own. First one utilized by the T side. Appropriate that they do so, and don't want to let ENCE try and get back into control of this one and equalize the situation. That's where they can be their most dangerous, but as well as that, they also got to consider the approach in the round itself. 2 Galils out, weakening the buy.
Complexity know that this is an important game and a tough challenge. We've seen over the course of this year, they've won a total of 3 out of 19 best of 3s against EU and CIS teams, which isn't the best of track records. You think about what happened after Cologne, there was a 10-game losing streak for Complexity. So it's all about the positives, all about turning it around and getting a win on the table here today. Getting a win on your map pick of Overpass is going to at least push them in the right direction.
Quick incendiaries up towards T-Corner standard. 3 players make their way ahead of it, though. Expecting ENCE to go aggressive in this round. Complexity are trying to play a bit more of a careful style. But the similar story could also apply to the CT forces. They put that utility up towards mid, and both SunPayus and Dia have fallen right back.
You wonder ENCE when they're going to have one of those hyper-aggressive rounds again, when they're going to start taking map control, when they're going to challenge Party, Fountain, Long, whether it's out towards Monster, because this is definitely more on the back foot. A lot of freedom being offered up here to Complexity. Not much presence outside towards the B site. Instead, there's a lot of players going in towards Banana. The bomb has been seen on a jiggle over there from SunPayus.
Trying to spot. Hoping that they re-peek outside of the divider. They're not going to do that for the moment, though. Smokes and flashes do get sent in. SunPayus will continue watching for the likes of Grim. Also got Dia out towards that long control that will have a lot of pressure against him if they try and go for that commitment. 2 players about to wrap that corner as the AWP also starts pushing in here. Grim won't be seen. Fang will be, but Fang gets the kill back. SunPayus hoping for a trade.
Yeah, he's got to be in an awkward position now. Does he fall back towards the site, help out Valde, or stay aggressive? Or the AWP duel towards the left-hand side goes the way of SunPayus. Not quite the double-up. Quick trade from Grim.
Valde left at the back of the dice now. 4 players to deal with. He stands alone. 24 seconds for the execution. 2 players giving up the ghost, but 1 only falls. The trade is so quick for Floppy. And it's 2 standing for ENCE against the 3 post planters of a complexity. And I believe that the save call is inbound from ENCE.
It's a good call here for ENCE. Money's not fantastic. 2v3, no one's quick on a backstab. You're both coming up from CT. It's a better option just to fall off. And you could just see how textbook that was there for the Americans. They get the pick out towards that long control with a boost up from Fang. They slow it right down. Yes, SunPayus hits a ripper, right? That shot towards the left-hand side of the top of con. It's a nice one, but look how quickly the trade is. Grim peeks on the contact out from Divider. Valde only gets 1. And in that round, it made it so difficult for those A-site players to get multi-frags. And that's how Complexity are able to overwhelm A, get themselves up another round on T-side. 5-2. This is looking fantastic for them.
You're all in the trading game. First frag definitely helps in that department, but Complexity only made it possible thanks to the quick responses that ENCE were able to find. Lead extends once again, 5-2 now with the buyback. That should be afforded by the ENCE side. M falls across 4, the AK for 1. No AWP left, or no money for an AWP at this moment. The economy has been drained for the CT, so a tactical is in order.
Complexity currently ranked first on Group C on the T side for the highest percent of team deaths that were traded, Jay. So that adds a little bit more to the entire conversation of how strong their trading game could be, how by the book it is in certain situations. And right there, that was a class act. 9 maps played in the last 3 months for them. 4 wins, 5 losses. As for the side of ENCE, we've only seen the newer guys of SunPayus and Valde play at once. And that's a game that they probably don't want to be looking at that thoroughly. It was up against Mouse in that 3rd game in the group, and it was a map that they picked into, and unfortunately started on the T side, got a 3-12 half, and was not able to respond at all in the second.
That was a bit of a one-sided one. And certainly not the kind of result that ENCE would want to pull to. Well, I guess they've got plenty they can pull from in terms of the mistakes that they made and the things that they could do better. Although they're probably haven't got the time to go from going through that demo this week, given how hectic the schedules can be. Only a couple of days separating this match from that previous one. They have proven that they can still be good in other matches as well, so chance to redeem themselves here against Complexity, but so far so little's been gained in this one. Grim again starts things off with the T side and reduces Dia down to nothing.
He's a massive threat right now, Grim. Think about his entries towards Connector, the top of bathrooms. He has been finding so much impact in con, and there just does not seem to be much of a way that ENCE are dealing with this. You've got Floppy as a lurk outside a monster, just trying to hold them at bay. JT and Co behind this divider smoke, and for ENCE, it's a little bit more of a heavy gamble over towards B right now.
Posting their positions, Grim just trying to prod out of the squeaky door. Got flashes in from the CT side themselves. Floppy try and lead that charge in from Monster. Great reactive smokes there from ENCE. Rather this clock pretty low, not so much low that Complexity will have a hard time with the execution. Martin, however, going to try and exploit that smoke in a different way, pushing the issue, getting dealt with the same. SunPayus, however, finding room for a trade out towards mid as the execution comes in now for the Complexity side.
Gets a little bit gimmicky with that aggressive monster hold, and now Complexity are going to go. Rotates are coming quickly, though.
Bang the first man in, trying to check out the water position. One player with graffiti could become a bit of a threat, but no, SunPayus has dealt with Valde, trade, Snappi on the other side of water, gets a headshot, gets a double up, needs the triple on the spray, and that's exactly what he holds to keep the clutch and the round together.
Oh, Snappi, the in-game leader, really stepping up. Massive off angle towards that left-hand side of the pit control. Establishes that cross between him and his teammate to pull the distraction off one another. And it felt as if Complexity had done enough. You get the opening entry onto Dia and Connector. The trading game looks pretty good, but instead it gets a little bit hectic and perhaps a Complexity not overcomplicating, but rushing in that situation, being a little bit too chaotic. And because of it, they end up fighting together out towards that bridge position, and it allows Snappi to come through with the clutch.
Plenty of footsteps being heard here. SunPayus going to try and pile on the hurt. Flashing against him. Did he get seen? No, he wasn't. Engagement against hallzerk and sees the second player out with its eagle. Dia going to hide as SunPayus continues to fry. Grim, however, comes up with a trade. Dia will try and look to strike back here. Get himself a tidy double. Snappi trades back on one more, leaving it all towards Grim. AK in hand, a 1 versus 3 to try and win.
Dia just knows as soon as SunPayus breaks that boost and goes down, well, I've just got to keep fighting, don't I? They know that I'm going to be here. Both players just working off one another. Even some assistance coming down from Snappi and Connector. And for Grim, going back towards that bomb control out to Party, at least he's got time to work with.
No bomb control to work with. No contact to establish either. Making noise. Now the CTs know exactly where he is, so this should be the only chance that he had to win this clutch. Pretty much thrown away. I say that, and Snappi gives away a 1v1. I was going to win one more out towards that mid position. The spray is good for Grim. Surely not. Surely he won't win this.
This is very doable. Bring that bomb down towards B. Knows that Valde is going to have to be over towards A somewhere. Sell him on the fake with a smoke, but he's going to end up on B.
Valde will not move. Maybe look back towards that mid position. As soon as that bomb gets planted, though, it will be a flare waved up, a sent up to try and attract attention. Grim up against it with the HP. Valde, one good bullet will do it. Grim needs the headshot or find the flank position. He's going to press the issue and all. Back into jungle. When does Valde make noise? Seemingly to drop out of this heaven position. And Grim's got a decent idea of what's going on. Sees him and waits. Valde incendiary out towards short. His back is turned. It's so perfect for Grim. A quadra in this round. What a clutch. You were right to call him a threat. That was threatening.
Oh my goodness, what a clutch coming through from Grim. And for ENCE there, they are just giving that up, aren't they? There was really no need to fight towards the top of Connector. Grim gets an easy duel onto Snappi there. Individual duels coming through. Crossfire is not established. And as soon as Grim is able to fake the smoke towards A and bring that bomb into B, that's on. From that point onwards, he plays that to absolute 100%. I love that from Grim.
Unbelievable. 14 kills so far in this map. And Complexity still struggle with the buy, but not as much as ENCE in this case. Pistols pulled out again. A scout for SunPayus. Complexity. Establishing a lead, continuing to extend it, leaving one man back out on the ENCE side here, the B side, as Complexity want to lean into the right place at the right time.
Just slowing it down completely, wanting to force out another info play. And B-side EXE continuing out from that monster control. They're going to leave Fang back deep in Connector. Wait for those rotates to come through from the A players.
Mac 10 in, aggressive. Marden does find one trade. SunPayus, first casualty, of course, for the CT forces, but Marden's only going to last so much longer here. Bomb going down on site. One player at short. Two players trying to come in from Graffiti. And actually, they do find Grim, so they are dishing out some damage with these pistols. But nothing that should make a massive difference, I don't believe. JT getting D here, especially going to recover some of that lost investment. Snappi, if he gets this AK, there can be something saved into the next round. But he's not taking the fight directly.
And knowing that this was a force buy, ENCE will not be happy with what has come out as a result. Having a little bit more of a stack towards A, up against the B side execution. You even saw Complexity missing that heaven smoke for a moment, not quite being able to get enough out of it. And Snappi looking for an exit kill towards Monster. The Deagle's getting close too, but unfortunately he's going to drop. And JT to be able to find the pick late into the round. 7-3 now, 4-round difference. And for ENCE, we might have to see some more tacticals in this first half because it has been a rough time from them. And just remember, the first rifle round they won was so convincing.
We've seen one tactical called in per team so far. Plenty of match to utilize the other three for ENCE, but certainly one have to get called out relatively soon. Maybe when this next rifle buy comes to fruition. But you're right about that, man. That was a full-on team ace. Everyone found the right kills. Complexity were just completely swamped in that first rifle round for ENCE. And now it feels like all that momentum, all that confidence has gone completely the other way and extended further than just one round. Certainly to extend towards this round 11. Eco pistols that should give Complexity up the half. What can ENCE do to deny this?
Deal with Grim. That's got to be the first one. Another B-side EXE. They've got a gamble stack involved. The Molly does force Madden out to the open to strike with the first.
Respectable. Floppy trades it so quick, though, and tries to respond to the second man to bring the advantage back to Complexity. Made quite a bit of noise to draw the CT stack towards the B site. SunPayus will be left with the scout towards A. And the rotations from Complexity will be slow, but they have time.
SunPayus just trying to see if he can spot for information, jump spot towards long, over to Dice to look into Vita in the bathrooms. He'll start hearing some of this utility, but the rotates are going to be so slow, they'll have to come up from connector, really.
Rolling and peeking, jump facing, utility will get thrown down. The smoke in particular with another follow-up. Great shot on JT, that's damage. Needs to get the kill. The second phase, however, does not yield such a success. hallzerk also tagged up, but still not dead. SunPayus is, though, 4v3. Valde comes up with 2. Fang forced to trade it back. A chance being bought now by that backstab. Now they're even standing at the 2v2, make it 1 as hallzerk drops. Fang, 18 seconds to try and spray them down. Taking some damage, but dishes some towards Dia, and now sees where Snappi is. Glock's pulled out. 12 seconds. Needs to prioritize that plant. Gonna tap and stick it on the truck. Snappi making all the noise. He forced him off. Fang tries to hunt for the fight, but Snappi wins the important rounds.
Snappi coming through with a clutch. Out there, this is now the second time where missed util has really hurt for Complexity. That smoke not quite going down towards a bank position. And there's been a couple of times, that B-site execution a few rounds ago, now in that round, where it seems like it gets a little bit panicky and a bit chaotic there for Complexity if there is missed util. And with that smoke not quite going down, things get out of order. Valde comes through from the back of connector with a couple of kills, and then Snappi sets himself up for the clutch.
Now it's Complexity in the force buy. AK's on 2, Galileo out, Deagle Tech 9. Weakened by comparison to what ENCE have got. It doesn't stop Floppy from getting that first kill, though. Smoke put up to stop the Incendiary from burning him alive. Quickly vacates that position, though, and tries to hold off against the CT aggression.
They could start walking out Monster while this is the play. Floppy to bring more attention over. Martin is desperate to get this pick, but no! Floppy makes it 2.
Maybe even dipping in for a third. One man of Valde making a bit of noise. Floppy's got his head on a swivel, thinking there might be something in connector. SunPayus is all up now, set towards ramp, flashed off blindly. I think by the CT flash especially. Grim now, center of the site. Bomb is on his back, and here comes 2 kills back for the CTs. 3 on 3, trying to make it 2, and JT will drop. Dia comes in against hallzerk, and will double up on Fang. So ENCE will just about hold the defense. Complexity, no bomb plant.
Now that is a little bit of a sour taste, I'd want to say there for Complexity. You think about how much Floppy was able to find. Aggressive, out towards short water, deals with the first towards the short sandbags, and he gets a little bit of a Brutusy bonus there. He gets 2 kills, he gets a 5 on 3, and it does not equate to a round victory. Complexity not quite pulling through. Strong defensive in from SunPayus. Dia on that rotate towards Heaven too. ENCE now starting to narrow the distance of the scoreline.
Eco around for Complexity means that ENCE should bring at least 1 more back. The confidence has seemingly returned for the CT forces. Got a chance to overtake Complexity going into the last round of the half. The issue forward of the pistols at this moment in time. ENCE. That's Snappi held out to connector, the only real mid presence they've got.
SunPayus with a little bit of an aggressive sightline down towards Divider. The information will be that we're up against a lighter buy, so we could be a bit more confident in our approaches. And with such little utility here for Complexity, even getting a bomb plant does not look likely in this round.
They place that flash and smoke correctly and catch players in the right timing, then maybe they could rush the A site. But even then, with how far back they are, they've got to fight for a bit more map control to make it completely feasible with Fang. Will drop, Dia gets a double, sees the bomb, doesn't quite catch it, but I don't think it matters. Snappi's backstab has closed in on 1, almost gets that second. Valde next up to task. SunPayus will put Grim down anyway, so all left on hallzerk. 20 seconds, at least has an SMG to play with, but no time.
Start hearing those footsteps soon. The AWP still looking down towards the Divider position, so there might be one. The MP9 being pulled out. The orb not quite striking. hallzerk doing well, but no more than that. For an eco round, it's not bad. It is 3 kills. It's not quite the plant, so it's not the extra cash injection, but they'll still be happy with it. And one thing that maybe we have to do strike with the conversation is Snappi not quite getting the assistance from some of his star players. Coming into today, Snappi had actually averaged a 0.86 rating in the Pro League with a negative 31 KD difference. And he's top fragging, and he's been involved in, what, 2 clutch rounds so far to get ENCE over the line?
He's certainly been the man of the moment. 13 frags, top of the board for ENCE. SunPayus is only 3 behind him, so it's not the worst situation in the world in terms of the top 2. But you are right, the impactful ones have gone the way of Snappi at this moment. Dia, kill, doubles up on Fang, and now finds his own impactful round. A tidy sequence that puts them down to 3 on complexity, and SunPayus is ready for more. Doesn't quite hit it. Snappi's in position though. At the sandbags, loses his life, dishing out damage, and Volde can capitalize on that.
SunPayus is still holding quite aggressively, even on low HP. That incendiary trying to force them out into the open. Some further spam. Floppy's down to 9 points of health now.
Going to get the headshot on the jump face, forced to escape into the harder cover of the short pipe. Flashes in as Martin looks out towards that small crack. Floppy and JT to work together on this one. JT will lead the charge, being the higher HP element. Martin is ready to find the frag though. No flash out of Monster, and in fact he actually managed to win that fight in terms of damage being done. Martin does find Floppy, and SunPayus will put the shot in on JT. So 7-all to the board. Complexity will be even up against ENCE coming into this last round of the half itself. What do they have to buy? It doesn't look like much in terms of the cash amounts.
Won't be a crazy amount. And I think we're getting some conflicting playstyles between both of these teams. We saw the way that for Complexity, when they have man advantages, they like to slow it right down, really slow the pace of the round. Where for ENCE, think about that setup. You've got Dia aggressive behind that smoke in the party control. 5-on-3, you've still got Valde and the AWP of SunPayus aggressive towards your short sandbags. They want to really suffocate down here, ENCE.
JT finding Dia. Immediate start once again, and now the AWP gets pressured, but SunPayus still finds a flick onto hallzerk. Doesn't mean it's an amount of advantage for Complexity at this moment, but with the HP bars being where they are, it could still be a chance that ENCE can find these trades. Martin finding JT proves the point, but Floppy jumps over with a Mac 10, gets a kill. Valde forced to trade it to a 2-on-2, and now Snappi's backstab is closed all the way in. Doesn't see that AWP just yet. Now he does, and now he's dead. It's Fang alone in the 1 versus 2. Back out to the long entrance, trying to spot the headshot burst, but Valde connects his own burst to the AK kill, and the 8-7 half going the way of ENCE, who have recovered here on Overpass, but can they follow it up? We'll find out after this.
Both of these teams took on Mouse on Overpass in the group so far and struggled on their T sides. For ENCE, they've managed to be able to give themselves a slight edge, a slight lead going into that second half, but the concern perhaps is the Pistols, Jay. 6 wins and 11 losses so far in Group C for them on pistol rounds.
Step that up, given how close this scoreline is. Either side could take full control of this matchup from here on out. Very important victory for both ENCE and Complexity. Complexity switching over to their CT half of their own map pick. The better half for ENCE is well past them. Now comes Complexity's time to shine. Double flash and smoke in for Snappi and SunPayus. Double flash and defuse for Fang over on Complexity. And ENCE initially setting up their util for a very early set piece towards the B side, but they're being challenged already by JT, who's found Valde.
This is almost the exact same setup of what Complexity did in their pistol round. Quick B-side execution straight out from Monster, but it's been cancelled. Complexity have already tried to peek towards Monster. Now they've got an opening man advantage, but they still have a lack of information.
Complexity have a suspicion it's going to be the B here with two players facing now. Here they come. Great counter flash. Floppy swings in, sees two, and gets two perfectly. Headshots on Dia and Martin. Snappi low, and Floppy swings out for a whole lot more than he bargained for. A quadra in the pistol, and Complexity even the board.
And Complexity ranked first in Group C on their City side for the most flash assists per round. One of their entities, one of their styles of play on City side, which is always so proficient. And you saw it there. Yeah, there's a man advantage that gets lost. It goes back to a 4v4, but it's working on that contact, working on that information that it is going to be the run out. And for Floppy, he just gets set up to absolute beauty with those flashes.
ENCE got no bomb plants. This Force Invest will look weak. Complexity overwhelming in the pistol. Now it's not just Grim that's a major threat. Floppy starting to mount up to his own numbers. 4 frags the difference, I should say. Next man down, of course, at Fang at 11. ENCE not quite outling up to those numbers on the whole here. Snappi still leading the charge very early doors in this T side. SunPayus will take point on the offensive line, trying to prod towards mid.
Even though the buy is slightly weaker without that plant, remember back to what happened in the first half. We had a little bit of a back and forth nature, force buys going both ways, eventually Complexity coming out on top with Grim's performance, and Fang spotting for some early information. Won't really get a massive amount of assistance though.
Burst in for initial contact and fall back at the moment he realizes he can't properly win those fights. Flashes incoming, indicating there's plenty of players out there for ENCE. So long has fallen for Complexity. They can still work in towards this A defensive, though. Two players very deep in the bomb site.
And knowing that there isn't any incendiaries for Complexity to work with on this City side, it means that there's not really that much that they could hold to slow down the EXE. SunPayus is waiting for a jump spot to come from the back of Van. It does seem to be it's going to be a split play into A.
In, Deagle sees the shoulder, gets Grim. Fang trades it 4 on 4, and he continues to try and look around for contact and burst through. Gets his double up, maybe even the triple, not quite, but backup has already arrived as Valde does find his 2 picks to return. So actually, ENCE managing to get the bomb plant here. The 2v2 retake is on, damage done. Tech 9 versus 2 only gets 1. Floppy with another triple, another round for Complexity.
And what's crazy too is Floppy is actually the highest leader for Clutches 1 in this entire group stage. He's now got himself up to 8, and when we think back to some of the previous rounds, it's been Snappi on the ENCE side. We've had Grim in for a couple of clutch situations too, so Floppy stepping up in the trade when necessary. And for ENCE, you think about that situation. You lose pistol, you lose the second, but you're getting 4 kills and you're getting a bomb plant, you're going to buy it up again. And this round almost looks like a rifle round in my mind.
It's all down to the bomb plant bonus. ENCE dishing out enough damage to keep Complexity limited. Rebuy, of course, in the CT forces. Damage being done to one of those CT forces already. JT landed by the scout. SunPayus driving them away from that early mid-aggression. Got Dia to try and cut them off from the connector aggression and underpass control. It's not going to happen for the moment, though, for Complexity.
They'll just know that for the Complexity point of view, let's make sure we continue this streak, get rounds up, but keep players alive. The last thing we want is our economy to be on the ropes, because that only opens yourself up to have that double eco status quickly. Grim, with the flash over towards the top of connector, doesn't see any of the strugglers hanging around that party control. Instead, for ENCE, they try and shift over for a bit of long presence and then go back out towards the B side.
The second minute of the round. Lean forward, doesn't look towards this monster position. Still got Dia trying to prod out to where Grim might be. FAMAS v Galil in that exchange. And FAMAS has seen him, but neither player takes damage. The smoke comes down. They siphon off one individual from the execution, but Dia gets the spray back. The flash in from hallzerk actually kind of helping him in that particular case to give the info back. And now the execution comes in. Valde leads a charge, gets hallzerk. Floppy falls to Martin, and Valde easily gets JT. Fang on a 1-on-5. Can only get that one frag. Surely everything else must not come through.
Oh, the double spam. That is so hard to look at, isn't it? Because when you think about Grim, He actually has done a lot right in that round. He looked up towards the top connector, he hasn't seen anything. He smokes off Con, he gets a flash from his teammate, right, I'm going to run through, I'm going to get out towards short pipe, I'm going to help you guys on B, and you're just getting spammed. Right through a smoke there from Dia, and how quickly that starts to tumble into just a wreck. That is Valde running out Monster, getting a double entry down onto B, and then even Fang realizes, right, I'm just going to save, there's not really any way forward, and even he gets spammed through a smoke.
Complexity down to Deco, but even that comes with investment, and you can see there's players on hundreds of dollars still. ENCE putting the heart onto the CT side and continuing to try find their way back into this matchup. Complexity were quite the dominant force at the start of the game. It's not quite so clear who's in the favourite position right now. ENCE look like they'll take the lead at the very least. The bathrooms and the long control, very uncontested by Complexity.
hallzerk's going to have to step it up, especially in these rifle rounds when he gets the AWP in his hands. He's currently the second highest rated player for Complexity in this group stage so far, and we haven't seen much from him on Overpass at all.
Smokes and Molly sends Snappi. Seen plenty of him here in this map up for ENCE. Lean forward and get the initial contact against Grim's Deagle, though he gets a double. Once again, the pistols are striking. Grim trying to look for the triple alongside JT playing around dice, but SunPayus lines up a triple and Fang, desperate to hold on to anything in mid, just can't seem to do it. Floppy at least gets the bomb carrier and another, a one-on-one situation, but at 2 points of health, he's forced to back off.
Floppy really needs something nutty to come out on top here. A reposition, wait for an over-aggressive Valde. Time is starting to dwindle down. He's got to get over towards that bomb.
He might just get what he needs. Oh, the bullet spam almost connected it. Deagle's shot connects to the shoulder instead. 10 seconds. Now Valde has to go for that plant down. Puts an incendiary up. Floppy can't afford to sponge the damage. Now leaning from bank instead. Valde lets his head taken clean off. Another clutch for Complexity. Another round for Floppy. 3 kills, plus 3 kills, plus 4 kills. He's just matched Grim on the kill count.
Surely that's not the only spot we're going to get there from Floppy. That is a mental round. On 2 points of health, he's been able to capitalize. And my goodness, that shot is instant. As soon as Valde starts relocating out towards long from the right-hand side of dice, he is deleted. And you feel for SunPayus in that round. After Grim gets 2 kills on an off angle, SunPayus gets 3. That looks like the job is done. That looks like you've opened up the A side. You've maybe been able to force too many overfights. The CT is getting a little bit wide, and then Floppy does that. That is an unreal round and clutch for him.
Complexity making a show of this one. It's not the first clutch we've seen. I don't think it will be the last the way this one's going. Certainly not the last tactical that we'll see from ENCE. They just used their second in this map up. We were talking earlier on, we want to see a lot more of them. I guess it kind of is the pace. Kept it even so far, but they can't afford another round like that. That was a massive steal for Complexity.
Just edging their bets when it comes to some of these clutch situations. They've come up successful quite a few times. A couple of clutches are coming through from Floppy. We've seen some from Grim. And it just sometimes comes down to a game of clutches, being able to provide the last kill when it matters most in some of these rounds, swinging the economy, starting to reset one another. And now, for what is really the first time in the second half, we've got a proper rifle v rifle round.
Open on SunPayus. Charge for the ENCE side here on shore. They have got a Mach 10 in for ENCE, so that doesn't... It's not the perfect rifle round. You are right about the guns. Complexity receiving no contact. ENCE hesitant to press the issue.
Seems like a pretty good mid-round read here for Complexity to stack up this B side. ENCE are going to just pop.
Lashes up and over, several of them thrown out. Mach 10 caught sandwich, but still finds at least 1 kill. Teammates got to do the rest of the work, but Fang and Grim come up good for the CTs. Instead, Grim does get caught by Marden. Floppy finds Snappi and the bomb. Dropped on ramp, 3 versus 2, making it wide as hallzerk connects Marden. There's at least 1 trade back from him before he falls, so Valde now left alone. The new blood, the Danish new boy, Trying to evade sprays. Look for Floppy, sees his shadow. Spray back. Knows the AWP must be a graffiti. Sitting on top of the toxic barrels. And a smoke trying to get set towards heaven instead. Bomb yet to get recovered. The Molotov should force that AWPer into the open hall. Zerk still scoped in and will still connect the kill.
Excellent stuff coming through from the Norwegian. Stepping up when he's required for another clutch there for Complexity. Valde doing as much as he can to try and make it uncomfortable for the AWPer. Smoke to heaven, molly to the right-hand side of graffiti. And you just saw how much immediate impact was found on that defense hold with 4 on B. And Complexity having the right players on the stack. And now a tactical timeout from them. Because they're probably in a position where they realize we win this round without giving up a bomb plant and not losing too many casualties. We win the map. We're 11-9 up. We can steamroll ourselves to 15, over to 16, you know, get us to that sort of margin, and then that's it. Job is done. So this is such a vital round for them for the taking.
We've hit that point in the game where every single round becomes important, and they get increasingly more and more important as this one rolls on. Economical break certainly would give a valuable lead to Complexity, extend it even further for that matter. AWP in with the regular rifles, the SMGs on Floppy and JT. However, you can see that the economy is not great for them the same. ENCE will be limited by 2 pistols. 1 AK there for the T side. Only 2 M4s for Complexity's part. Single AWP versus 0 AWP. Default set in as standard.
Oh, this is aggressive. Look at Martin. Right out towards Monster. He catches the AWPer off guard. This is so uncharacteristic there. That was dry. That was in their face. And Complexity just got caught sleeping.
Everyone got caught sleeping on that one there. Martin was so silent walking forwards. Even if they were awake, they barely had a chance. The AWPer already down. Big start for ENCE in this one. Smoke's being set back and forth from both sides, but Martin's going to be getting a bit. Oh, the body block was heard. Martin tries to escape, but he is not going to be there for much longer. JT with a spray back. And that crucial piece of info. I think that was the T-side smoke the body blocked.
There was definitely some of it. Whatever util it was, there was a body block, and he had to either act or try and fall back. And unfortunately, when you kind of give that information away, you're just going to get spammed. Those bullets are going to go straight down towards Monster. SunPayus can't find anything to the divided position, so that early entry from Martin's now been wasted.
40 seconds. Dia stands ready to try and peek in, evading Floppy for now. Flash up, spray back, gets his kill, but Floppy does find Snappi before Dia gets his pick of the round. Now Fan getting caught, and Grim lines up too, makes it easy to shut down any potential for ENCE, and that is the important round win now for Complexity.
And knowing for Grim, he's averaged a 1.10 rating so far in this group stage. He averages a 1.13 in the last 3 months. So if we look back at some of the previous results, the Blast Premier 4 groups, you think back into maybe the Open Qualifier, what they played to get to the RMR, Cologne, all of these other events, we've seen Grim actually perform statistically at a higher level. So to know that he's performing like this in such an important series is great signs for Complexity.
Nade sent up into the T-side line again. Fang trying to attack a war on 2 fronts from out T-Con and Incon. Stairs of Con ready for Dia to come from BotCon. Dealt with on the spray. Great kill to start. hallzerk will follow suit against the rest of the pistols. Of course, this half by being picked apart by Complexity. And ENCE don't stand a chance.
Just getting a little bit more comfortable for hallzerk, knowing that he's 3rd in Group C for the most AWP kills per round. It was surprising in the first half to see not a massive amount of him, but now into the second, we're starting to see more of a glimpse of what he can offer to the table, what he's capable of. And 13-9, it is only a few more rounds now for Complexity to close out this first half, can close out the first map, and to think that the first half is really given that edge, you know, the conversation. Come into the second, and they're starting to steamroll. They're starting to get a good round streak together.
Oh, just 3 more rounds to go to try and get this map over the finish line for Complexity. Quick play out from ENCE, though, going to try and overwhelm with their rifles, and in fact, Floppy does get caught blinded. All-important start for Dia. JT trying to evade the further flashes coming into the second wave of utility, but Martin finds his pick against him. Fang can get one responsive, takes a lot of damage in doing so. The bomb is down for ENCE, and this might not be a retake for Complexity. Indeed, they're out of there.
That was ruthless with the aggression. That was so quick into the beat pop on a rush there for ENCE. And then even Diha just finds immediate impact with the entry, but then also cutting one of those rotates, trying to get up towards Connector from that short water control. And now Complexity have to start thinking to themselves, well, while we're getting close, it is going to be a challenge to close this out. That was a real fiery round there from ENCE.
Bring a lot more of that fire for the rounds to come. Not get any easier. That one kind of came unexpectedly the same, so you could kind of argue that this round they shouldn't really have won, all things considered. But they did. 3 rounds still to the good for Complexity. The buys will, of course, be afforded by them. They have cash in bank. ENCE just won the round itself, so they'll also have a buy. Still missing that AWP on SunPayus, but he's managed himself pretty well here. Still at 15 frags. And now ENCE have also brought the frag line into a relatively consistent basis across the entire board.
And that is very true. Try and see if they can just get some more form. When it comes to all players, Martin aggressive up towards T-Con early on. Nade stack potential here for ENCE.
No one's there to receive it. Onto the boost spot position, didn't quite land it. Sprays in towards JT here, towards the monster position, and they're unaware of the damage that they've just done. It was all behind smokes. But they've gained an advantage with their plays here, and it's a good start.
Abating a lot of that early util is only going to help them late round. Complexity have got to try and see if they can gather some more information in that mid-round approach, allow themselves to take map control away. They've been quite stagnant on the city side, very defensive in the bomb sites rather than searching. One thing that ENCE was definitely doing in their first half was pressing up from Party into Monstar, always being very proactive on the map. Complexity are definitely more defensive and keeping 4 on B right now.
As Fang starting things off here for Complexity. Valde first to fall in that short pipe. Once again, Complexity trying to work as well as they can in. hallzerk all really landing his frags. Only 10 kills deep, but he's having his moments, and Fang continues to frag. Up to 20 for his own mud, and down hallzerk finds Dia, and ENCE are picked apart, much like they did to Complexity in their own CT half. Except now it's for round 14 on the CT board.
At least they got money in the bank. They could be happy about that one. The cash reserve is looking okay here for ENCE. Complexity, that's got to be a good feeling. A very good feeling after that round. And when you know how much you're able to strike out there on B with Fang, and then, of course, what hallzerk is able to do towards that A site, get out wide, get on top of Dice, and just multi-frag. I mean, that first shot when he was repositioning towards long was everything.
Complexity find 1 out of those 3. A third tactical utilized by ENCE here. Have a buyback, have to invest in this round, of course. But this would be their last stand. This would be the last chance they can deny Complexity a map point. What has been a very hit and miss map from them so far.
You say last chance, I'm going to turn that around and say best chance for Complexity. Look at the buy. The fact that you've got the AKs behind you and you're 14-10 up, I don't think you could ask for a better situation to go into this round with the weaponry they've got behind them. This is the best chance for them to get up to 15, to allow ENCE really a difficult nature to force it to OT and try and close it down. One thing that Complexity have liked in their Overpass is just being able to keep it close right to the end and then get it over the line. We saw that against Heat. 14-10, ENCE. Difficult round for them.
Breaking out the big guns, or at least the biggest ones they can afford. Still 1 Galil down for Dia. AK's returning fire from JT out towards the connector spam. Both sides got away pretty clean on that one. ENCE already better so, with a slight HP advantage above JT. But no major difference on either side here. The map control established and Complexity not willing to press forward.
Just play close towards that trash can position at the top of the bathrooms. Got that AWP behind him. And hallzerk is going to be able to provide a flashbang, can get aggressive, peek around the corner, spots out Snappi but doesn't win the fight.
Now hallzerk stands alone, backup is on the way, and his utility placement with a HE and Incendiary will stall the execution for long enough to get a 2-2 split in. Meanwhile, there's a great they will find Grimbo, but there's a rotation inbound from ENCE, and Snappi playing around his smoke gets caught off by JT. 3-on-3, that slow walk might provide the counter rotation from Complexity, but Floppy's backed away.
It's a good call here for Floppy. Don't get aggressive. 3v3, play it back, allow that retake to come in.
Try find the long fight on towards Dia. Nails onto his position, doing very little damage towards Floppy. 36 HP for him, but 16 for Dia's part. 3-on-3 situation. ENCE need to hold this. The flashes coming in for the CTs. JT out in the open, and Martin just peeking and prodding out of the default position. Now swings alongside Dia's initial face. Martin with the kill onto Floppy. 3 versus 2. ENCE hearing footsteps, JT walking slowly. Martin suspects it, but JT still gets the kill. Dia caught off by hallzerk, and SunPayus in his orb needs to step up again. Shot connects on one and plays the long game against hallzerk, calls his bluff, but the second face is going to be the stick. He makes the noise, he wins the round, he doesn't hold his life, but he holds ENCE in with a chance.
Oh, thought there that hallzerk was just going to stick it on that first counteraction. I thought there might have been a slight miscue of sound that he gets onto the bomb when his teammates died, and maybe there's not enough information for the AWPer of SunPayus to know about that. And think about that first 5-second stick, could have been a possibility. Ops against it, try to draw that fight out into the open. And my goodness, has this been a map of clutches from both of these teams?
2 clutches from Floppy and Graham, I remember, from Complexity over there, at least from either player.
They had 3 between them. Snappi had 2, and then that's another one for SunPayus. We're looking at 7-8 potential clutches over the course of this map for both teams.
So many, I've lost track of them all. So good on you, Dweg, for remembering all that. I certainly didn't. Dia first down to hallzerk, though. Opening frags, working to the favor of the AWP at the CT side this time. Again, not up there in the numbers game, but he's had his impact in the second half.
One of the first times we've actually seen Complexity on the front foot, early stages on that CT round, allowing hallzerk to go slightly aggressive, get into connector, get the quick peek, end up falling back, and now bridge a crossfire here in the bathrooms. Martin's going to have to try and force them off angle with a jiggle.
Looking con for now. Also ready, jiggle attempted, but hallzerk hits his shot. 3 left standing now for ENCE. Smokes up from Floppy. JT watching his man's back. His utility to play with here on the T-side line. The flashes in from SunPayus might allow the entries. There's a second smoke in from the CTs. That will stall for even more time.
And that's timed to absolute superb, right? You have to be able to not allow that counteraction to go into the B-side quickly. And that stalled, maybe even cancelled the B-side exit, because there really is not a massive amount of nades left for ENCE.
Swing and spray. JT assisted by hallzerk's flashbang. And now ENCE are reduced to 2. Another confident Complexity rounds, it looks like. 20 seconds. The bomb's yet to commit. It looks like it won't commit. Both these last 2 T-side players are backing away to save their rifles. Get some sort of buyback in the next one. It has fallen apart for ENCE at the seams, and it will be map point for Complexity now. Let's have a look at the loss bonus. It's not great for the T's at all.
Absolute quality coming through from Complexity in that last round. hallzerk with the aggressive pick and con, falls back to the crossfire in the bathrooms, 5-on-3, and then even JT smoking down Monster, working off that utility placement, and even the flash from hallzerk just assists JT with that slight overextension towards Monster, and as soon as that kill comes in, that's it. That's the round over and done with. 15 on the board now for Complexity. The last hurdle, the last challenge is just closing. One more round, that's all they need.
Bang quickly into position. Snappi seeing flashbangs getting sent over, knows that JT's out there somewhere, will try and trade blows with him from beyond the wood wall. Meanwhile, in an underpass, Grim has made his way all the way up at the backstab. Hearing those footsteps, might he get caught off? No, Floppy finds that first pick. Grim does get tagged up heavy, but they've got the advantage here for Complexity. That's 1 rifle down.
Starts getting a little bit chaotic. Floppy trying to get in there to a better weapon, get over to that AWP, reposition. They don't know about the walk-up from Snappi.
They do now. Floppy finds his pick. ENCE down to 3 men. Floppy's looking in for a little bit more. Dia trying to hunt around for that rifle again. gets caught for it. Marden needs to trade desperately. Floppy has found 3 picks in this round. Might get flashed off position, but the M4 of JT needs to hold on of his own right. The spray does not go well, but Floppy still center of the sight, not being challenged by the flashbang, keeping him blind. Valde can't hit his shot. Floppy's desperate to land a flick. Burning. USP's pulled out, and Valde turns it to a 2-on-2. 45 seconds, but enter in the thick of it, and now the AWP of hallzerk leans in as Fang gets his pick. hallzerk's ready for the shot, but Valde gets his own triple. Now for the quadra. HP advantage. That nade lands right at his feet, though. It's an even man standing, even HP standing. That Fang is going to win anyway. 16-11 for Complexity. At long last, they'll close out Overpass and take their own map pick.
I'm impressed, Jay. I was very much liking the style of play we were seeing there for Complexity. When it started off, it looked like a little bit of a grim show. Looked like he was always involved in the multi-frags, the opening kills, the advantage in the 5v4s. But as the game went on, we saw more from Floppy, we saw more from hallzerk, and then overall, just utility placement was class.